It's that time again.
Ooh.
It's the weekly show reviews, and we're reviewing The Penguin episode 6.
What?
What?
Oh my god.
Out of the entire season, this is probably my favourite.
Wow, making a grand claim there for episode 6.
Yeah. I like how this is becoming an underdog story, and now the underdog's winning.
Most definitely. I said Victor was one to look out for.
Yeah.
Oz obviously is still got that double-edged sword for me. Like, I don't know if I can trust him, if I should like him. Should
you
we?
definitely can't trust him. Definitely can't trust him. He's a sociopath and a narcissist like his mum. So
Apple doesn't fall too far from the tree.
Can't trust a narcissist, can't trust a sociopath, because they're all in it for themselves.
He is inevitably the villain.
Yeah.
But you do forget that at times. It's like the Joker syndrome. You do side with him with certain topics.
That's the thing. That's the thing about a narcissist. They come across when they need to be as lovely, humanized people.
Plays
with
the game.
Empathy. Yeah, just plays the game, and then when they need to, they switch it off and then become what they need to become to succeed and be the big man or the big dog on campus.
The big dog, diggity dog.
When we left Oz in the last episode, it was all looking a little bit grim. They're all huddled in a cold apartment. Francis, Victor, and Oz, all seeing it's all seeming a bit dire. Then he has an epiphany after seeing a trolley coin or a metro coin in there, in a box. They then go underground to the old trolley, the old Gotham trolley, and then he realizes that he can set up his empire and work from underground. Fast forward to this episode, he's actually already got a distribution system set up. And he's raking in the cash.
He's wasted no time.
We don't know how long this period's taken. We don't know if it's been 6 months, 3 months. We've got no idea. The story doesn't really tell you. But he's really got his claws into Gotham, and he's spreading bliss everywhere. So he's got what he wanted, but he's been hunted down by the Maronis and the Gigantes.
Gigantes TTs. What a name. Out of all the names they could have chosen, that's a very over the top name.
Gigants.
Gigants.
It's like a bunch of winos, like aunts, like going, oh yeah, we're in the Mayfield, but we drink wine.
They're the Giga Chads.
The Giga Kankids.
There we go.
So what's his idea is that he wants to unite all the gangs in Gotham, so they're all flying under one banner, and the one banner being Bliss. So he can distribute it to wherever he wants, unhindered, because he's using the trolley and the metro to move products around the city. So the Falcons and the Gigants can't work out where the hell he is, because he's underground.
He's hidden. He's out of sight, out of mind. So
the only thing Sophia and Salvador can do is strike back at one of the gangs that are helping him supply Bliss or distribute the Bliss, which they do. They end up attacking the Sullivan. Why is it always the Irish? Why do they always have pop at the Irish?
I don't know.
But they end up taking out some of the Irish Sullivans. They end up taking out their gang or the people that were distributing, just to make an example, to make sure that Oz can no longer distribute, or people are too scared to distribute Bliss, which works to start with.
Yeah, you could say. It depends on which side you are on. Are you on the Penguin side? Or are you on Sophia and Salvador's side? Because honestly, it's a bit of a mismatch at the moment. Nobody knows who to side with, because the Penguin is dangerous at this point. He's definitely causing a lot of trouble, and there's a lot of people after him now after getting rid of a few people.
But due to human nature and the fact that Bliss is highly addictive, Oz has the idea to just give it out for free. He's like, well, if people don't have to pay for it, and it's everywhere, so he just tells his men, give it out to everybody. Anybody that wants it, they have it. They don't have to pay for it. Everything's free. It's all on Ozcop. So he's trying to see himself as a saviour to the Crown Point and the East Side. So if he's elevating his station, he's trying to make it so people can't live without him. So if somebody grasps him up, or somebody tries to grasp him up, they can't or won't, because they love him so much, because he keeps helping out the community. He keeps doing this, keeps doing that, keeps giving out free drugs.
Okay.
It's a way. It works. It works in politics. So why would it not work on the street? But there we go. We have a bit of a dark scene, which it's a bit harrowing, isn't it? I think people that
if you're a little bit sensitive, this might be a little intense for you. So just be... Obviously, the entire season has been a relatively dark series, but there has been moments that might be triggering to some individuals. So just be careful with that in mind when you watch the episode.
Frances, as we know from previous episodes, she has some sort of brain condition. You find out that it might be a mixture of things from Oz, but they don't actually know what she's got. But all they do know is it's deteriorating as she is getting worse as days go by. She has a moment of clarity when Oz comes back to visit to make sure she's all right. He finds her in the bath nearly drowned because she's had an episode.
And before this happens, the entire electrical everything, the power's gone, so everything is cold.
They're running off a tiny generator.
Yes.
And the generator goes and there's no power going to the building, so she's in there freezing cold, suffering with this brain condition. She gets a moment of clarity, and then she asks Oz to kill her. If she gets to a point where, she's shitting herself and she can't operate or can't function, or she becomes completely reliant on other people, he wants her to do her in.
She's put this big obligation on Oz to do the worst thing you could imagine.
So they're both sociopaths. The mum is definitely a sociopath, but because she's got a condition, she can't remember that she's a sociopath until she gives her claritative moments.
She has many different personalities at this point. You don't know which type of Frances you're going to get.
So maybe she's slightly bipolar as well, because one minute she loves Oz and then she hates his guts.
So it's really an imbalance.
So he doesn't know where he stands with his mum. So he's definitely got a lot of mummy issues there that he needs to work through, because I don't think he's going to be able to get over himself or get over the relationship with his mum and then become who he needs to be until he puts it to bed. Because at the moment he's sort of like so concerned about his mum Frances that any time that something comes up, he drops everything to run to her. And as a leader, you can't do that. You need to stay on case. You need to stay on point. But we'll see what happens with that. So we then flash to Victor, who has a problem with somebody who used to know what we see in episode 1, which is one of his...
Squid.
Yeah, so Squid knew everybody that Victor knew. This is before the Big Bang, where the dams blew up, and then that whole thing with the Riddler and the Batman. They were all still living in the East Side. He was the local, I guess, villain.
Yeah, I would say villain.
He was the leader of the local gang. He was a bit of a pain in the ass. Every time he turned up somewhere, people would leave because they didn't want to be around him.
He's an unsavoury character that people avoid for reasons.
So you've had that through the entire thing, and they've reintroduced him very briefly in the last episode where Victor sees him and he tries to hide the fact that he's there. But in this episode, Squid confronts Victor and says, I want in on what you're doing because I can see the amount of cash you're running in. Notices that he's wearing $500 trainers and he's wearing a nice jacket and he's wearing nice clothes. I want in, speak to your boss.
He wants the materialism that he sees.
Yeah, if you don't get me in, something's going to happen to you. I'm going to mess you up. Maybe I'm going to go for that old lady you're living with, speaking about Frances. So then Victor starts to panic because he never wants to let Oz down, because they've got this symbiotic relationship now, which seems to be always leaning towards what Oz wants, not really what Victor wants. And then Oz kind of does his empty, and you're doing a great job, kid. Just keep it. Yeah, just keep it up. You're doing a great job, kid. We're gonna be on top. It's gonna be you and me. It's gonna be Victor and Oz. Oz and Victor. And that's what's egging Victor on to do what Oz wants. So he comes to Oz after the confrontation with Squid. He tries to tell him, saying, look, I think we might have a bit of an issue here. I used to know this guy. He can make problems for us. What should I do? He doesn't actually get to tell him at that point because he kind of cuts him off because everything's going down. So he then has to find a way of dealing with it by himself. And unfortunately, that ends up becoming
a bad encounter, to say the least, because he's really egging Victor on Squid, and it comes to this moment where he's saying, I want to see your boss now. I want to see Oz now. And he's sort of playing along with it, Victor. You can see it's his first time of really thinking on his feet of how to get out of a sticky situation. Victor as he's going along, he's finding ways to morph himself into this world that he's found himself in. And as he goes to walk and
he's becoming more like Oz.
He's becoming more like Oz, definitely.
There's so many running comparisons between both of them. They're just the age gap. But they both were brought up in the East Side. They both come from broken homes because of different reasons. He's now an orphan, obviously because of what happened with the Riddler. Oz lost his brothers, and he's only got his mum, so the rest of his family's dead. So there's a lot of similarities. They find this connection, but unfortunately it's a toxic one, and this stuff's kind of happened. So he ends up having an altercation
with Squid.
And
in the heat of that moment, he ends up shooting him.
But we've seen Victor. He can handle himself. We can see that he's jumped people. He's more than willing to get into the fray. He's more than willing to do his bit. But he saw Squid as
a threat. A threat to
because he was frightened of him when he was still before he met Oz. He was frightened of him then, so he's still frightened of him now, and he doesn't really know how to handle the situation. So his first port of call was literally just to shoot him. He didn't know what else to do.
And in this moment, it's the first person that he has killed. This is the first person he's actually cold-bloodedly, out of trying to protect Francis, I think, more than anything. He's just not thought, shot him, and has just realised and come to the realisation of what he's just done.
Because he's now a killer. He's now Oz.
He's now exactly the same.
Yeah. So there's now no difference between them. So the final step's been made. He's now taken a life. So whatever happens to him now is going to be down to him. Is he going to leave the life? Is he going to stay with Oz? We're not really sure.
We'll have to wait and see.
The pinnacle part of the episode, one being the fact that Salvatore and Sophia are now in cahoots, so they're now their own. Maroni's and the Gigants are now one. The other thing is as well to solidify his distribution of bliss. The Penguin Oz has to get all the families, especially even the Salvatores, the ones that were just attacked by the Gigants. He has to get them all working together because they're stronger together than apart. So he meets them all. He gives a big speech. They're all very distrusting of him because they've all dealt with him before. They all know he's a backstabbing prick. They all know what he is.
They can read him off the bat.
Yeah, there's no qualms about it. They all know who he is. They know what he's done to them in the past. He's screwed them all over. Every single one of these families has screwed them over just so he could get ahead. But his argument is too strong in the fact that if they all band together, they can all make money. They can all become a name. They can give a big fuck you to the rich people that are stealing all the electricity and leaving the East Side in tatters. So they end up all agreeing. And then Oz gets what he wants, and now a major distribution network is set up just because money.
Money is the guiding force.
And he knew exactly how to play them. He knew that they didn't trust him, so he knew that the only card he had to play was the fact that bliss is highly addictive, and there's a lot of money involved. And then once they heard that, there's nothing they could do. And the fact that they're going to get respect because they're going to have money. So it's for people that have lived in squalor their entire lives. It's a massive drive, and it's obviously going to be, yeah, all right, Oz, yeah, we'll join with you. And they have a toast, and then that then starts the partnership, which is cool. During the entire episode, what we should mention as well, Sophia is trying to find where Oz is. Like, she's out and about. She's asking different questions, people that Oz knows. She then finds a picture in Oz's apartment because she breaks in with Salvatore of the Lady of the Night.
Lady of the Night.
Or Oz's girlfriend, the one with the blonde hair. She finds a picture of her. She
puts two and two together. She realises there's been a relationship of some kind here, and that she might have valuable information so that she can get to Oz. In doing so, she goes out. She talks to people of the night.
Yeah, then she finds the girlfriend.
And they have a little chat, don't they, of sorts.
But she dobs him in it. Sophia does her old... Well, she's done with everybody in the show so far. She manipulates. This is her way. She manipulates the girlfriend, makes her see that he's a piece of shit. She's always known that Oz is a piece of shit, but Sophia talking to her solidified it, so he ends up giving him up. Which then leads to the final scene, which is a bit of it's a good cliffhanger.
It is a good.
Massive spoiler, so if you don't want to know what happens, turn off now, watch the episode and come back. Oz gets the power turned back on in Crown Point, which is a massive deal. Again, he wants to be seen as a saviour, so one of the things he's done is got the power back on, which is going to make everybody love him. But why they're all celebrating that the power's back on, especially Victor and Francis. Sophia is quietly hiding in the wings, and as soon as the power comes back on, you then see her with a crowbar and a gun looking directly at Francis, and Victor are completely oblivious to the fact she's there. End scene. It's done. That's how it leaves it.
I have no idea where this is going to turn out. I have no idea what to expect in the next episode. Everything that Oz has been doing so far is to protect his mum. He's purposefully put her in a place of where nobody would ever suspect her, and just due to default, we've got the worst person imaginable now in the wings.
Yeah.
About to do anything possible. So I have no idea what's going to happen. I'm really left.
I reckon one or two is, if it'll either be straight up, she'll just kill Francis and then leave Victor alive as a messenger, just to let
Oz
know that it was her that did it, or she'll take Francis and Victor hostage, or she'll just take Francis hostage and again leave Victor there as a messenger just to let her know what she's done, or she'll end up killing both of them.
Or do you think there might be a conversation involved? She might try to get information out of them.
It might be. She might see pity in the fact that Francis is so far gone, just because of her condition. She was standing there quite a while watching. So maybe she'll get emotional due to the fact that she's lost her mum. She might have
empathy in that one moment, but we're not too
sure.
sure.
Not sure. Yeah, exactly.
So next episode we'll get some answers, hopefully. But it was a very good episode.
Very good. Highly recommend it.
I would say don't have any distractions nearby. You've got to really thoroughly watch this, because I think there's loads of Easter eggs and things to keep an eye on.
100%. This is still our favourite show at the moment. We're totally gripped by it. Still gets our stamp of approval after this episode, because we thought it was going to dip, but it's not. It just keeps getting better. I really hope that they just give us an ending that this show deserves, because it's just so well put together.
It'd be such a disappointment if they've gone all this way and it's been high, and then suddenly it be like meh.
Yeah.
So we can only wait and find out. But out of the entire episode, what would you rate out of 10?
I'd give this a solid 8 out of 10.
Wow. Okay, 8 out of 10. I think that's probably your highest score for an episode so far.
But thanks very much for watching, guys. Remember to like, comment, subscribe. We'll see you soon. Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye.